I'm really kind of bummed out she doesn't show.
Yes.
Oh, she's coming around. Guess we'll find out. All right. No. Yes. When's it due by? End of the day. So you got to come to me. Yes. You will not know. I need this. I need that. Okay. Anything that you're going to turn into me normally, with the exception of stuff that goes in the interactive notebook, especially when you got, think about this. If you guys got a quiz on Monday, you guys got a quiz coming up, I'm not going to take away from something from you that you need to use in order to study. Along with your interactive notebook, I know a lot of you guys are like, this one, I really don't know exactly what the rules are with this notebook and how this thing works. Am I allowed to even touch it until you let me know? First of all, these are your notebooks. They're yours, okay? The reason why these are back here is that we are accumulating all this material throughout the year so that when the year is over, we have sections, and I don't have any tabs inside of this one, so maybe this is the best example, but I have sections in here, and where if I go to chapter 1 or unit 1, I've got geography, introduction to geography. So if I go into the geography section, I've got all my maps are in the geography section. If I go to section 2, I've got Reconstruction, and everything in there is Reconstruction. Section 3, Westward Expansion. Section 4, this. So all of my units are all in really neat places so that when I want to study for, a good example, if I want to study for the benchmark that takes place at the end of the 9 weeks, or I want to study for the benchmark or the semester test, is that I have something that I have to study, and I don't have to have my teacher make me a study guide. I have everything, and it's all in wonderful order. But this is ultimately yours. This is ultimately yours. So while right now I have everything in an order in which some of you, and it's probably not good to use this one, okay, have set up perfectly. I have, right now, I got a front cover. I've got this is what the interactive notebook is. I got my Virginia map. I got my southeast map, and I think that's it right now. Okay, my southeast map, and that's it. We're going to be putting in another page in here in just a moment, and when we do that, then we will go ahead and we'll add to it. So as you take these home this weekend to study, okay, it's Mr. McCarrick, what do we study? Well, it's everything that I've asked you about on these worksheets. So you can, if you want to, you can take this notebook home. Okay, this is yours. If you want to. Now, again, it's an inch and a half ring binder, so it's going to be tough to fit in your backpack. But if you are planning on making it to your locker between now and the time you go home today, put it in the bottom of your locker. All you got to do is just grab the notebook and you got everything. If you are, and gentlemen, I warn you, start taking apart your notebook to take home, quote unquote, just the 2 pages. Don't lose the 2 pages, because this notebook will be checked. And if there are pages that are missing, you're going to lose points for those pages as well. So that's your choice. Yes, sir.
Where do we go to check for papers that are missing?
Sir?
Where do we go to check for papers that are missing?
That's actually a really good question. And you know what? We will answer that. We will answer that. I promise. What we're going to do in the second half of class, before we leave, when we assign the assignment today, I'll show you where we can look at that. All right? You wait until then? Excellent. All right. How you doing, guys? Excellent. Okay. And again, thank you very much for the patience. I got nothing but rave reviews from from how you had behaved for the substitute, and nothing makes me feel better than when my students respect and treat my substitute in the way in which I would want you to. And so, from the bottom of my heart, I do appreciate that greatly. Having said that, let's have a little bit of fun. Shall we? All right. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Where are you going? Step there. Step there. All right. All right. I need gentlemen. I want to jump off that ledge. Pick me. Pick me. You guys have no problem. Hey Ryan, you look nice in that purple today. Come on up here, buddy.
Oh my goodness.
Right. Now Ryan.
Nobody knows. Oh my goodness. Ryan. You're in for it. Oh, you're dead. No, Blake. You better run.
I'm faithful.
She's hilarious.
All right, now, whether you are aware of it or not, how you doing today? You doing all right? Ryan, this should be the happiest day of your life. You know why? Because you, I can't find my, oh, there it is. Excuse me. Not quite as smooth as I wanted it to be, but that's all right. You, sir, we're going to talk a little bit about it. Come on, work. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, you better run now.
Hey, Ryan, how are you? Did you know you were getting married today? Huh? Well, the good news is, if you ran out of here, maybe this isn't good news. Today, sir, not me. All right, go ahead and stop that one. Okay, save the other one for a moment. Okay. All right, you're getting married today. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Now, this is supposed to be an exciting occasion, right? It's supposed to be. You ever been to a wedding before? You've never been to any wedding whatsoever. Well, you're at your own. You're finally at your own. So we have to, because like in most weddings, we have to dress you up. Okay? So we have to. Hold on. The purple shirt's nice. Okay? But we're gonna go ahead. We got a top hat for you, and we're gonna get. Let's see. You gotta put a jacket on you. You know, you can be form the military. So here you go, Ryan. Got those nice shoulders, probably fill that thing right up here. Okay, sorry it doesn't match. Okay, this is the last minute thing for me too. Now, I just found out about this wedding myself. Now, here's the really great news. Who's gonna be your best man in a row?
I swear.
You gotta pick Ryan now.
No, he does not. No, please. No.
I wanted to be Ryan, but
No.
he's my friend,
No.
so I'm picking Jack.
Jack, come on.
Yes, thank you.
Ryan over here.
I will remember you.
Ryan over here. All right, Jack, go out and meet your maid of honor. Okay, you guys can come in just a second. Okay, now what we're doing here today, and I really want to, and I want to see if I can expand your mind just a little bit. Okay, and I want to see if when we're studying, especially this stuff here at the beginning of the year, is that the hardest time we have, is really trying to connect with the material from the standpoint, especially of emotion. We are going into a time period called Reconstruction. But in order to understand Reconstruction is all based on emotions. But what type of emotions are we dealing with here? Okay, that's what we're going to answer as we move forward. But before we get to Reconstruction, there was a time of happiness. Okay? Now Ryan, whatever. That's your spot. Okay, here's your room. Okay, Ryan right here, this is his wedding day. This is his wedding day. When you get married, what sort of emotions go with your wedding day? Please. Outside of what Ryan's displaying here, okay?
Regret.
Please don't.
Sign up for this.
Actually, you did.
You did, you volunteered. Right here. Right here. Go. Quit moving. All right. What sort of emotions go with your wedding day?
Joy.
Joy! Okay, not in this case, but joy! This is the great day! Give me another.
Well, fear.
Fear. Okay, describe that one for me. Tell me about that.
It's like worrying about what's going to happen.
Okay, it's maybe fear is a big strong word. I mean, we are a little scared because we don't know what happens from this day forward. Okay? You're joining with another person for the rest of your life. That idea of being married, it's a very happy, it's a very joyous occasion. But yes, there's definitely a little fear. What else?
Excitement.
Excitement. This is an exciting day. Okay? And the reason why, and why he doesn't necessarily seem to be all too excited about this, is that you do see at a lot of weddings, you see tears, you see smiles, you see shaking going on. If you ever watch, and if you watch really close, man, watch the hands and the fingers of the bride and the groom, and their hands are shaking because a little bit of that fear is there. There's a nervousness of that day. You're standing up in front of all your friends and in front of all your peers. Ryan, who came to school today, was like, "This is gonna be a boring day." Did you do that? Shame on you. Shame on you. I need a photographer. by the way. Nah, it's gotta be a girl. Guys aren't great.
Oh,
Okay, take as many pictures as you want, as many things as you want. Okay? So why don't you go out in the hall and go take pictures out there? Okay, start out there. Okay? Trust me, go out there. Alright. Now, it is a joyous day. Where is this end up tying in with history? Okay? Now, our country was brought together. And if you think about your curriculum last year, let's not talk about the Reconstruction yet. Let's go before that. Okay? What brought our country together and united it? What brought our country together and united it? Sir?
When they were fighting the British in
The Revolutionary War. Okay? We had all of our colonies all had to join together and all had to fight together for one common cause, to make us one united nation. Okay? But see, just like a bride and groom, there are two very different people that come into this. And in our country, we have two very different sections of our country. And here we have Mr. North. Okay? Tell me a little bit about Mr. North. Tell me about the North. Okay? Give me some characteristics. I don't necessarily want to know them of Ryan right now. Okay? We're going to play the role here. Okay? Give me some characteristics that make the North the North. Yes?
They were against slavery.
Against slavery. This is going to be an issue, Ryan, because I hear something about your girlfriend's got one of these sort of issues. Okay? But we're going to get to that in a moment. Okay? So tell me something else about the North. Yes?
They were very factory made instead of.
Very industrial, very factory-based, very, very mechanical. They make a lot of finished products. Okay? The South has a lot of what? Crops, raw materials. They have the raw materials. He makes those raw materials into products and then into things that we can purchase, we can buy. Something else different about the North and the South. Give me something else about this gentleman. Give me something else about Mr. North. Nothing? How about people? You're calling on somebody? Who's your friend? Yes. Tell me something else about the North.
Specialize in one thing.
That's true. That wasn't exactly what I was looking for. That's true. There's a lot of specialization to be able to work in those factories. But where is most of our population in the new United States? It's in the North. Okay? All of those cities, Philadelphia, Boston, New York, all of these cities that are building up, a great deal of population is moving into the North. Okay? In the South, it's a very different world. Mr. North, let's let everybody get to meet the bride. Okay? So, not just yet. Let's wait for the bride. Okay? Go ahead. Cue the music.
It's turned off.
They turned off?
Turned off.
That's alright. Okay.
Oh no. So we gotta go down.
Alrighty. Let's meet Ryan's wife.
Not life yet. Not official.
Go ahead. Cue it away. Go with you. Start the music.
Which one?
The other one.
Which?
There's only 2 songs there. What's this wedding march? There you go. Oh, look at you in your rose cups.
Oh, it's the flower girl.
Excellent, excellent. Come on in. Is our bride? You guys must be standing up. This is the bride. That's a heck of a drink you got there. That's awesome. Look at you. Lauren, get great. Caroline, right here. Oh, how Thank you for joining us here. Please be seated. We are gathered here to witness the joining of these 2 wonderful sections of a country. We have Mr. North and Miss South will be joined forever as one United States. And as we bring these two together, as we all know, is there anyone here that sees any reason why these two should not be joined? Speak now or... You're killing me! Genius. You're the broom. I should have pre-rated this a little better. Alright. As I join these two sections of the country, okay, now, we're gonna, come on. Right. Now, as we join these two sections of this country, now, as somebody other than the groom had raised their hand, now, why would some folks object to this union? Why would some folks object to this union? Yes?
Maybe some of the Southerners would object because they want to keep slavery.
Let's go to that issue, okay? When two folks join together, and let's talk. Let's stop with the country piece, and let's actually talk about a real marriage, okay? When two people join together, what is one of the biggest challenges that a couple faces? What's one of the biggest What's one of the biggest challenges a couple faces? Yes. Children. Okay. Now, hold on.
That's not going to be a problem for that.
Right, get up there. I had to gather myself here a second. Thank you very much. Brian, jeez, you're killing me. All right, yes. There are a lot of fundamental questions that we have to answer as we move forward. And obviously amongst a couple, hopefully early on in the dating, there is going to be a conversation about family and whether they, and obviously that has to be something that has to be a really big part of their agreement is that if Ryan doesn't, and neither one of these two seem to be all that keen on having children, especially at age 12 apparently, that seems to be an issue, which I'm glad for that, I'm really glad for that, is that those are questions that need to be answered. Now, at the same time, okay, and again, we're switching back to our historical role here, is that, as we mentioned over here, is that what brought these two together was actually tragedy, okay? A war brought them together, okay? The North and the South were brought together because of a war, because of a common enemy, a strong enemy, that if these two sides don't join together, they're not going to be able to defeat. So while there are some huge differences between the North and between the South, okay, they are both united in one idea, and that is that not living with a king, not living amongst a king. Okay, and think about this in terms of, coming from a really horrible household, you had a really horrible father. That's your bookcase. Okay, really bad parents. She wants to get out of the house, and she sees an opportunity to be able to get out of the house because she can get away from her mom and her dad. Ryan's doing the same thing. They both had that common goal, to get out of their houses, and they both are going to join together. But when you realize is that one of the most difficult things for a couple is that we have to be able to find out what are the things they have in common and what are the differences, and can you live with those differences? Now about the South, what are some differences that she brings to the table outside of the slavery issue? Because I know we did talk about that one. What are some other issues that we have with the South? What are some of the things that the South's bringing to the table? Yes?
Like the people there, they're not like, they don't know like in what the industrial system is in like the North, so they won't like get it.
It is a very different way of life. Everything's a little slower. The plantation life is something where there's a lot of open land. What else?
You don't really have a lot.
You don't have a ton of neighbors. Honestly, in a marriage, does it really matter that she comes from the country?
No.
Maybe a little bit. Her way of thinking, she's used to, her living in a city is probably going to be a little bit of a problem. Somebody living in the country and moving to the city, that's going to be a little freaking out. At the same time, Ryan's going to be bored to tears if he has to move out into the country somewhere. There's a lot of cows out here. There aren't a whole lot of people. So we've got those differences. But again, we're now united. The war unites us. Now, just like a wedding day, the emotions that you described, Nina, the joy, is the fear there? Yes. But on this day, are these two showing that fear? No, it's happiness, it's joyousness. Ryan is, but we don't. On a wedding day, the bride and the groom, are they thinking too far down the road? What are they thinking about? The bride and groom on their wedding day. What are they thinking about?
I do.
They're thinking about I do. They're thinking about, can I actually say my vows? They're thinking about the right now. And after the Revolutionary War, there's celebration. The English are gone. Yeah, we've kicked them out. Woohoo! And now we have to go together and be a part of the country. Now, as far as a marriage, what's the biggest challenge after the wedding day? After a week later, what's the challenge that these two are facing? Nina?
Like getting a house and settling down.
Okay, those are obviously going to be issues. Okay? How to live, where to live, those are definitely going to be issues. But before we even got into that, okay? Yes?
Their differences.
They're going to start recognizing their differences. Because every single time, okay, something's done at that house. And you guys know this. You love the way your mother makes spaghetti. Have you ever gone to somebody else's house and had something that your mom makes at your house, but they make it different? And you go over to their house and you're like, they could actually make it really well. And there are some of you that go to somebody else's house and you actually like somebody else's mom's food. But for the most part, I didn't like anybody's food if it wasn't cooked the way my mom cooked it. And now Ryan's cooking. And Caroline is going, what in the heck is that supposed to be? Now suddenly his feelings are getting hurt. And Caroline's going, no. I just don't like my food that way. Why did you put it in water? Well, this is the way I always do it. I always boil everything. Ew, I put it on the grill. You're boiling a steak.
How do you boil a steak?
We have a fight. And the North and the South start fighting. They start fighting because of their biggest difference. Okay? Now, this is also the tricky part. When a husband and wife are joined together, they've got to be able to get along. They've got to have rules amongst themselves. Ryan's got his bad habits, and I know most of you guys got the same ones. Okay? Socks on the floor, toilet seat left up, or toilet seat left up, or they didn't put the toilet seat up and they left a big old ring of urine on the toilet seat. You go in there and it's like a pool sitting on the toilet seat. And Ryan's like, what's wrong with that? I'm not sitting down. You can clean it up if you want to sit on it. Okay? What are some of the chores you do at the house? Do you do laundry? No, you expecting her to do it? Ooh, look, see, he's compromising. Ryan just said, I'll do the laundry. Ryan is saying in code, I'll do the laundry wrong. That way I'll never have to do it again. I'm going to put it all on hot, and I'm going to shrink it all down to really small, and she's going to go, I can't fit in on my pants. And you're going to go, I did the laundry like you asked me to.
How'd you know?
That's what I do.
Huh? That's what we do. That's what us guys do. Okay? You're going to do laundry? You're going to do the cooking too? Because apparently you don't like his cooking, so you're going to do that?
Sure, I know how to make spaghetti.
You know, oh, there you go. Does your mom have a special like spaghetti? Does she put meat into the spaghetti, like ground beef?
Mine does, yeah.
You guess she does? You think she does? You don't even pay attention when you put the
I
These two are very agreeable. She's willing to cook. She's willing to clean. Ryan's like, all right, I'm kind of liking this marriage thing now. Maybe I'm okay.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you did. You raised your hand. You volunteered. From this day forward, I go, yeah, I need a volunteer. I always go, Don't know what I'm doing. Next thing you know, I'm going to be climbing into a spaceship or something.
I would do that.
Versus getting married. I would rather blow up. You have this all on video too. Let's finish. Let's finish where we want to go. Okay? Now, of the problems that we have, those differences, and the biggest difference we have between the North and the South is the fact that Ryan keeps bringing up every time there's a fight, and we know this happens. Okay? Now, I know some of us are blessed with having parents that are so stinking sweet to one another, you're like, oh, Mom, Dad, I want to grow up and be just like you. I also know that there are some of you that know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay? Those of you that don't, reference a movie and where what I'm speaking about actually makes some sense. There are going to be those fights. And moms and dads, when they get into fights, they like to get into fights and they always seem to come back to like the one thing. Because that's like their killer little argument. And Ryan's argument is the slavery thing. Yeah? Well, you had those slaves. Now her argument is going to be, oh, I have slaves? Well, you have workers that you have working in your factories that you don't even care if they die in the gutters, because as soon as they die, you just go hire another employee. And you're going to hire them for as little as you can possibly hire them for, so they don't have a way to be able to live, which means that their wife has to be able to work and their kids have to be able to work. I mean, their kids have to be able to work. Yes, my kids are working, but my kids, at least I'm giving them a house, I'm giving them a place to stay, I'm giving them food, I'm giving them shelter. You don't even guarantee them those things. Now, while we're going to sit here and we talk about the big old nasty angry slavery argument, this is the argument that is taking place amongst this couple that are trying to stay together. This country's trying to stay together. This North and the South is trying to stay together. But this slavery issue keeps coming up. Okay? Now, as you can imagine, and this probably makes a good bit of sense, is that a slave owner does not want to treat their slaves badly. Do you work well when your parents threaten you? No. You work better if you're incentivized. If your parents are going to give you $20 to wash the car, you're going to wash the car. If you say you're going to wash the car, I'm going to beat you to a pulp, you're going to wash it to the least that you possibly can, and it'll have swirl marks all over it. You're going to go, it's washed. And your parents are going to go, wash it again, or I'm going to beat you. And you're like, you're going to beat me. You're not going to work that hard. So it makes a whole lot of sense. And a lot of slave owners take offense to the idea that, how dare you put a finger in my face and tell me what I'm doing is wrong? This is a necessary evil. I have a farm that I have to take care of. I have acres of crops. All that cotton that you're getting for nothing, you're getting from me because I have bought out of my pocket my slaves, which, oh, by the way, was a how many billion-dollar industry?
36.
A $30 billion industry. You are asking her to give up a $30 billion industry. And then give me what? What are you going to give me? Okay, so let's say that I'm going to get rid of my slaves. What are you going to give me? Because you sit here, you come home from work, you've worked your long, hard day. Who's been slaving around, taking care of this house, and you come into this house and go, you need to fix this.
Now I feel
Yeah, you should.
So, this is a part of that argument. And this argument goes back and forth for the next 70 years. For the next 70 years. Okay?
I don't even know. You're 12.
And that becomes a part of the question. And Caroline, she says it almost on cue. Because the question is that, why did you even get married? And now, 70 years after the British are gone, and you guys are actually starting to look at each other, think of what brought these two together. They both wanted to get out of their parents' houses. They both wanted to get away from a tyrant that was their mom and their dad. And now the South is looking at the North and saying, you're just like my father. You're a tyrant just like my dad was. You are always telling me what to do. You're always telling me how to live. You're trying to tell me what I can have and what I cannot have. So, just like in a regular couple, just like in a regular marriage, when there is that big a problem, they can continue working on it, and the country's going to try and work on it for the next 70 years. But you start laying down rules. None of your friends can come over to this house. The friends that you have right now in the South, they are allowed to come over. But any new friends that you have, you're not allowed to bring them over. Because I don't want to deal with any more of your slave-loving friends. Whose argument was that? Who, when they came to power, said that that was going to be their argument? That they didn't mind slavery, they didn't want slavery spreading. Yes? Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln. Now, as you can imagine, what he's hearing is that I'm only allowed to have so many friends. You can have all the friends you want. You make new friends, they can come over. There's 30, 40, 50 people in the house that all happens to be his friends. So Ryan's got 30, 40, 50 people. You're only allowed to have your 12, 13, 15 with the Missouri Compromise. That's it. That's all you're allowed to have over. He can have over as many as he wants. And you look at him and you're like, that's not fair.
That's exceeding the fire
Exactly.
So like in a normal relationship, what does the bride want to do? She wants some control. She knows that she's losing it. The North believes he's all, and just like the guy in the relationship, sometimes there's a little power struggle. Us guys have a little bit of hard time with power. Giving it to our wives sometimes, letting her have a voice. Ryan looks like one of those types of guys. He wants it his way. You can tell by the red hat. But if he doesn't get that, if he doesn't give her that power, what often happens in those relationships? Yes. There's separation and there's potentially divorce. Okay? Now, here's this scary little world here. Okay? Do you need the South? Mm-hmm. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. What does the South provide you? Now, we've already agreed in this conversation we have here. She's cooking, she's cleaning, she's doing a lot of those things that you told me, admittedly, that you didn't know how to do. If she leaves, that stuff's not getting done anymore. And you're saying, well, I can learn how to do that. But at the same time, those are things in which you've come to depend upon her for, and now they're not there if she leaves. What does the South provide to the North? Yes. Raw materials. All that stuff that's coming up in your factories. You think about how this thing works. That cheap slave labor is making materials that are coming to you cheaply, that are going into your factories, being made cheaply by your labor, and it's being sold to the rest of the world cheaper than the rest of the world can do it. You know why everything's made in China today?
It's cheaper.
Because how much are Chinese workers being paid?
Nothing.
Nothing. They're being paid pennies. So whenever they make, and this is absolute honest God's truth. I went online. I bought 2 shirts. They were only $5 for these 2 shirts. I couldn't believe they were only $5 for these 2 shirts. And I bought them. I had no idea where this online store was from. I come to find out that my store happens to be in China. Okay, so it's going to take me 5 weeks to get my 2 shirts, but they're only $5. These 2 shirts, one of these shirts would sell for $50 in the United States. So instead of buying $100 worth for 2 shirts in the United States, I bought the same 2 shirts for $5 from China. That's what you were back in the 1850s and 1860s. You were the China of the world at the time. Cheap stuff coming out of America, and you are making money hand over fist. You need her, and she's planning on leaving if you don't give her the things that she wants. But your people, Jack and all your friends, are like, I don't know, man, that's slavery. That's just not right. She's still planning on leaving anyway. That's her way of life. That's what she does. That's what she has to do. There isn't the machinery yet. And this is the thing too. This is like, well, honey, what if I give you a machine that you don't need to have that slave labor? Because again, he wants to solve the problem. So let's give him that. Let's give you that wonderful little cotton gin thing. You put the cotton in because they spent all that time picking those seeds out of that cotton. Let's give you that cotton gin thing. What did you just turn around and do once you got that cotton gin? What did the South do once they invented the cotton gin, Nina?
They needed more slaves to turn more cotton.
They grew bigger fields and they grew more cotton because they could now the southern plantation owner, she wants to make more money too. And now you're getting ticked going, wait a minute, we gave you a machine and I told you I wanted you to have that machine to get rid of slaves and you got more. This thing is not working between us. Sweetie, darling, honey, Caroline, you got to get rid of the slaves. And she's like, no. Now, do you need him?
Sure.
There's so much love in the room.
Okay, the South needs the North, but Caroline doesn't need Ryan.
Okay, we've clarified that, okay? Maybe I needed to make sure I phrased the question properly. So when we're looking at that house that's coming apart, is that what you're saying to me is that you think that you need him. Can you find somebody, another country, that's willing to take cheap raw materials? There's a lot of countries. Can you name one of them? That's going to be really, well, China doesn't really exist just yet. What one country can the South sell all of their supplies to and make just as much money, if not a little bit more? Sir, you can sell it to Europe. Give me a country in Europe that they're going to want to deal with. Yes. England! Oh my gosh! Ryan, think about this. The South is thinking about leaving you for the country that you both fought together. She's planning on leaving you for him. She's leaving you for England!
Would you?
It's after their wedding.
Now, poor Caroline's all traumatized. She's gonna need therapy. These two are gonna need couples counseling for the end of the day. Now,
Yeah.
if these two have been together for this long, and the South is actually planning on, not only am I going to leave, but I'm going to leave and I'm going to deal with the country that we both fought against in the American Revolution.
That's just wrong.
Emotionally, how does the husband feel? I know we're jumping back and forth between the two, but tie those same emotions together because the emotions are the same. How does the North feel?
Betrayed.
Betrayed. That's a great word. Betrayed. You are leaving me for England? You are going to betray me. She has been trying, Ryan, to deal with you. She's been trying to live in the same house with you, but you're not giving her slack on the one thing that she has to have. And she is simply planning on leaving. And she does just that. Caroline, you have to see.
You're free.
Before you take all that off, I want to take a couple good pictures of these two. Please. Take them out in the hall and take good pictures. Show the train, the whole 9 yards. Okay, take a lot of, like 5, 6.
Ready, Maddie, stand up.
Now,
Maddie, will you hold back at the train?
I get out here. I'm finishing.
I keep tripping over it.
It's your dress. You spent the $4,000 on it. Found it this morning. Found it yesterday morning, actually. All right. Now to finish this up. To finish up this thought. If you think about this, and it's really quite honestly, it's this simple.
Are we allowed to have our phones take pictures?
I don't care. I'm planning on putting.
Now you're not tripping on your phone.
Well, actually,
How are you holding it?
Jan. I gotta get the groom up there too. I'll tell you what. Groom and best man, get up there too.
Wait, I have a question.
Oh. Get a picture.
Ryan's like,
Actually pretend in like in a picture that you guys actually know each other.
Ryan, can you replace me?
try and smile.
No, you don't look anything like me. Exactly. So I can't.
Yes.
That's the only reason you're saying no.
Now, as they're getting pictures, all right. Give them another second. And one of the things I didn't actually get to is that one of the things that couples actually have to deal with is that especially when they come together. How many of you that are your parents are divorced and you have stepmom, stepdad are part of the picture? I am a stepdad, so really, everybody here is like a happy, wonderful, fantastic that I'm married. Okay, I was just curious. One of the issues they have to deal with is bills. When a husband and wife both come in, he's got his checking account, she's got her checking account, and there's bills that are not hers and not his. They're the house bills. They're the electricity, the cable, the gas, if there happens to be gas, if there's internet. All those bills are bills that go with the house. Who's going to pay them? Both of them? Do they split them in half?
Yeah.
Now hold on. Because here comes the really fun question. Who's got more money, the North or the South?
North.
The North in some cases, okay, depending on whether they're a factory owner or not. In some states like Massachusetts were very, very wealthy states, but Virginia was also a wealthy state too. There are going to be poor southern states like South Carolina, and there are going to be very wealthy northern states like Massachusetts and New York. What if the North is far more wealthy than that southern state? Who should be paying these bills? The North should be paying more of it. They should be paying maybe a part of it, but the North should be paying more of it. And all of these things, just like in a household, these are the things you've heard your parents fight about. You've heard your parents fight about money. You've heard your parents fight about whatever that one difference is. And in this particular case, it happens to be slavery. You get back in here.
Hey.
They come.
We want birds.
They ran away.
From their abusive father. Their mother.